Sorry, we're a little bit late. We were just chatting backstage. But we are so excited to be here. And I'm just looking at the comments. We have our 2 early birds. Hello, hello. Then we have, hi. That cover, yes. Isn't it gorgeous?
Got my Staples version.
Yes. I loved when you did that. Your video was so cool about that.
I thought it'd be fun. I mean, I know it's gonna, I'm sure his will look different, because who knows when you're just putting it on a Staples thing.
Yeah,
but either way, it'll be good. It'll be good for marketing and TikToks and stuff, just to have an actual physical book and maybe take some pictures with. So
yes. And then hold on, we were talking about what versions to show, and you sent 2 ones similar to what we wound up going with. But one of them didn't have seaweed on it. So do you want me to show the one without seaweed as well, or only the ones with seaweed?
Not any of all of them. That's so interesting to see, like, the beginning stages.
Yes. So in Becca's YouTube video, which you may or may not have seen on her channel, we got to hear her explanation of, like, hey, I wanted it this type of way of showing the vision, the psychic vision that kind of kicks off the story. And I actually didn't know that reasoning. Becca had just been like, oh, I have a mock-up and I'm thinking of this, and this is the dream she had. So it made sense to me.
Right.
I didn't know that it was following the theme of Dream Diaries, which was really cool.
I didn't really know that either until I sat, like, after it was done and we picked the cover and everything. It suddenly occurred to me. Like, that was when I was all like, oh, you know what? Which it kind of works, because technically I gave Mara, the main character, my history.
Yeah.
So it kind of is, like, in a funny way, like a little prequel.
Yeah. And you had told me, like, oh, like, these, I feel like these are kind of
the vibe-wise.
Yeah, vibe-wise. And it totally made sense. But then it was like, oh, literally the idea and the concept of the cover. And I was like, oh, that is cool. And then it made sense that, we wound up going from a very, like, simplistic background where it's like, it's there, but it doesn't really, like, take away and, like, to, like, oh no, we're building this out. Like, we are making it atmospheric. So the cover has been out since I uploaded it to the Inimitable Books website, I think at like 12:02 this morning. And then it had been uploaded on Saturday to retailers because it doesn't feed to them through Simon & Schuster's system, like, over the weekend, but then there was Labor Day, and I'm like, I don't know if it's gonna add an extra day or what, but it's on the retailer websites today. So I'm like, you know what? We did it. We got it timed good. And so you've probably seen the cover, but rather than just going to show the final cover, because we're discussing the process of it, we're gonna show the different versions. Not all of them, but we're going to start with Becca's first thing that she sent me.
Oh, right. This was my.
Oop, nope, that's
it.
Yeah. Okay, sorry. No, my windows are all, like, all over the place. So I was looking at the one that you had sent out, and I was like, I thought I selected the right one. Okay, yes. So we have Little Family Secrets based on true events, which was, the original thing. And then we have Becca C. Smith, and we have sans serif font, but it's a lot cuter and like nicer.
Yeah.
Like the shape of the S's and stuff. But you
Yeah.
have the tub full of blood, you have a window, you have.
Oh, wait, can I say where I got that picture from?
Yes.
So I actually, the reason why, not that we would use this, but one of the main reasons why we would not use this is that I actually got this picture from an HGTV home beach renovation episode. So this was a beach reno, but I turned it into a bloody tub, you know? So there you go.
Obviously, clear path.
It just made sense with the window because that's how it was in real life, is that when my great aunt, when she after she shot him, she had dragged his body to the tub, then chopped up his body and then passed the body parts through the window into a metal barrel, and that's where she ended up burning his body. So the window was important, but originally we didn't have the window. We just were going for more simplicity.
Yes, and we'll show that off in a moment. But to anyone who just was like, "Wait, I'm sorry, did you just say real great aunt?" Like, holy crap! Based on true events, Becca has made. That's crazy. She had it all calculated. Mm-hmm.
She did, yeah. Well, she did it with her brother. So which it actually ended up making him, it broke him. Like my cousin found him on the railway, like on a railroad like on the tracks, homeless. And she brought him to like a home where he lived the rest of his life, because it broke him. Like, it completely broke him because she basically kind of forced him to help her.
Oh, I didn't realize that part.
Like, she made him hold Rolf down, and
so like in all the history, the write-ups and stuff, it's like, oh no, like they did it together, and it's like, oh no, well.
Yeah, I mean, this is according to the other brother that, and just as a result of knowing the brother that helped her, he was he was a very gentle guy. Like, so
I can totally buy that this broke him.
Yeah, and it just like, that's why I think originally that's why she wanted him there, because again, I think first and foremost, she wanted this to look like self-defense, so she'd have a solid case, and it just never worked out that way for her. And so I think that's another reason why she invited him, because everyone always knew he was the gentle one, he was the nice one, he was the whatever. So she thought, oh, everyone will believe him if I say it's self-defense. But then it didn't work out, and she kind of made him,
it didn't work out, but then forcing him to become my goodness.
Yeah.
But Becca has another video on her YouTube channel where she goes through newspaper clippings that a family friend sent you, who had been tracking this case, and it is wild. There's also like a website that like kind of chronicled everything, just like in summary. And
I think it's a history link or history.
Yeah, it's history link. And I had read it out to my mom and our family friend who was visiting, and they were both like, this, wow. So yes, thank you.
Oh, thanks, Esther.
Becca has, the video about making the cover into a physical one that she can hold up. But then before that, she had posted this one about the articles, and it is a wild ride. So you definitely should watch that after this. But getting back to the cover, you wrote the book inspired by the real events, and then within that, obviously, you're going to include some things that are real, and then also you fictionalize things. But
Yes.
this being real and also being super important to the story, we're like, we want it on the cover.
Right.
So you had sent me that, and I was like, oh, I love it. But what if, and this is just like off the wall, but what if we had a top-down shot,
right, yes,
of a tub full of blood and like the letters emerging from it,
right?
And I was like really bad at describing the letters emerging from it. I was like, oh, like it's partially in, but it's not, and like, you know, so
although, have you noticed that book that's so popular right now? It called like The Woman in Room 11 or something like that.
Yes.
And it's literally the tub with the letters coming out. And so I'm kind of glad in a way we didn't. It's almost the same kind of concept.
I know it was like really good that we didn't do it, but it was
that's so crazy that
and I hadn't heard about it before.
You had that idea, and it was like it's literally a bestseller. So you had a great idea.
I was like, you know what? Okay, my mind was in the right place, but we thought we would do yes. Please subscribe to Becca's YouTube channel.
Sure. Thank you.
And so when we went to the cover artist, you know, Christian Storm, I was writing to him and was like, here's the idea. And this is the book description. This is, you know, the text that we need, you know, so the title, which we did change from the version that we just showed. Yeah. The based on true events or inspired by true events, you know, we hadn't fully landed on the phrasing of that yet, because we did have a discussion about like what based on versus inspired by implied.
Because it's so crazy how much it is true.
Yes.
It's like, like the lawyer that I talked to, he was all like, you don't want some random cousin coming out of the woodwork going like, that's not what happened or whatever, even though, so anything that you bring up that was part of the reality, that's all safe. So I made sure that everything that was real is real, like the same. The only thing that I left out was that the brother was there. I didn't have the brother in this one because that would have been too complicated for the story.
Yeah.
But it's crazy.
Yeah. And so we had that wording change. But when I emailed him, I was like, look, the author has this idea, which I'm like totally on board with. I have no artistic talent myself, but I was also thinking of this top-down idea. So like,
I love that. And you were
I don't need to double your work, but could you give us both concepts?
I know, we gave him a lot.
He was, you know, he did it. So I'm going to share the first. He was very interesting to work with. So for people who don't know, all of Inimitable Books' fiction titles up until this one have been done by Keelan Rivers, and they have been great. The only exception to that was actually From the Diary of Agnes Yeager, which was middle grade, and the author Veronica King did the art for that. And then I had said fiction because the nonfiction books, well, the deck isn't really a book, even though it has a book in it. That is, you know, that cover art is just from the deck itself. It was done by Veronica King. And then the 1,000 Words to Get Started and 1,000 Words to Ignite Romance covers were done by Mandy Lynn of Stone Ridge Books, who, you know, really cool YouTube channel on here as well. Mm-hmm. But for this, we were like, okay, let's just see what's out there on the internet. Let's see options. And it was a really cool opportunity for me to look at other cover designers. And we found Christian, and he had a portfolio of like a lot of mystery and thrillers. And we're like, let's shoot our shot. You know, he's done a lot. Worst he can say is I'm busy or no. And then we had others on the list. And I had never had someone give me so many like versions in a single go. So for people who don't know, the final cover was actually like the 5th round versus with Keelan, I think we had like maybe gotten up to like a version 10 in a certain cover of just like minor tweaks. So it wasn't like it took us 10 times to like actually get to design. But with Holly's cover, Holly actually recently shared a post, I think, on Instagram about like the first cover versus the final cover, which was
Right.
we I think had like 4 rounds where we were just like the coloring or the shading or the something like was off. So they were minor tweaks. But here he gave us multiple things off the bat, and then we would write back to him and say, like, for this one, can we make these tweaks? Or, you know, this version, we're not sure if we want to go forward with this one. So what I'm about to share is the first like wide net that he cast, and then he very quickly narrowed in on like 2 or 3, I think, in the next round. We're not going to go through every single round. That would make this a very long live stream. But after the title change, Becca did this so that he could, you know, we didn't confuse him by sending something that said Little Family Secret.
Oh, right. Yes.
We wound up on Grandma's Little Secret because even though it fits very well in, you know, the thriller genre, you know, you have Sharp Objects, you have Gone Girl, both by Gillian Flynn, you have The Woman in the Window, The Girl on the Train, you know, you had all these things, Little Fires Everywhere, which came to mind immediately for me. It worked, but it felt like it didn't feel like it was unique enough.
Yeah.
And I think you're the one who finally came up with this. And I was like,
yeah, I was actually at, because Kate was in town because we had gone to Comic-Con. And so we were back in LA and we were literally at lunch at like California Pizza Kitchen. And I just turned to her, I was like, Grandma's Little Secret. And we're both like, and so I texted Sarah immediately, and I was just like, I go, what about Grandma's Little Secret? And it was like, oh, yes, let's do it.
Yes. So we got there, we sent that to the cover artist, and then he sent us these drafts. I'm so sorry. There was so much lead up, and I was like, oh, wait, we got to share the second mock-up that Becca had done. But we got this.
Right.
And
cool, but I was like, oh, by the way, when you first sent it to me, for some reason, only like the first 3 showed on my phone.
On your phone?
I was just like, oh, are we only doing the top up ones?
Oh no. So yeah, so for people who maybe don't recognize this outlay, because especially I cropped out most of it, he created albums through like Google Photos or something. Which is like Google Drive, but not. And on the phone, they loaded in a certain order, which is different than on the computer. And then also we learned later that sometimes the order that they load even on the computer is not the order of the file names.
Yeah, that was so annoying.
It was because he was like, oh, you can just say like round 1, design 1, and I go like from left to right, and then you go to the next row when applicable. And we just kept running into issues. So we were like, you know what, we'll say the numbers, but also we're gonna describe it to make sure there's no confusion.
Yeah.
But because it was a link, it has a preview to it. So maybe that's why like you had or I had sent you the screenshot maybe, and it was like cropped or something.
Right. Yeah.
But I'm glad that you eventually realized that, oh no, your idea.
You said, well, there are some others of the full tub, and I'm all like, oh, and then I went on my computer and I saw them all, and I was like, oh, okay, here we go.
Yes. So we got, you know, the top down that I asked, and he might have put those first because he was like, oh, this is the publisher, I really need to like do that one. I didn't ask him to do like prioritize mine over the authors, but we got these. And then the one at the bottom, which is like the most unique angle, you actually liked that.
I did.
But I was like, the metal part of the tub, or kind of looks like a shower head or whatever, it's blocking.
I know, but that's what I liked about it.
I know you liked it, but I was just like,
I get it. Like I'm
a problem when
it's super easy. I lean towards artistic
And I did love it, but I was
no, for sure. I just like, it's like, even if it's at the detriment, I'll be like, but it looks cool, so I don't care.
Yes, yeah. And for people who don't know, Inimitable Books is incredibly lucky to be distributed by Simon & Schuster, and I have these sales meetings that I do with them.
They'd be like, no.
Season. And the only time they've ever given me a note, knock on wood, where was one time we had a cover and they're like, oh, we need you to make this change. And it wasn't actually a big change, which was like, oh, that's nice to know that like my direction, even with my aphantasia of the cover designer, was a good idea. But it was a valid change. And for this, I could just hear them saying like, this is not legible enough, do not do this.
Right.
So we nixed the bottom one very quickly, although I feel like Becca might be holding on to it
I think a little bit. You nixed it pretty quickly. I was like, okay, but honestly, I think it was the I can't point to it because you think, but it was the second one to
this one.
The one that looks the most like ours now.
Yes. Yeah. Sorry. I'm hovering my mouse over it, but I'm realizing
I can't see. Oh, yeah, I can't see it.
I was doing it within StreamYard rather than the actual.
Oh, there we go. Yes, that one. Yes.
So this one. And he had done some with the rounding, and I was like, I feel like it's going to get lost in it. I did like the placement of this.
It was too pretty is basically what we came to think.
Yeah.
It was just like for the kind of story it is. And eventually I think you were the one who brought it up. You're like, this would be very misleading.
Yes. And, you know, like the idea of this concept was like, oh, it is the secret part. You know, it looks fine, but then you notice that there's blood in the tub in whatever capacity it was. And we were just, you know, like this one, the title got lost. We did try one other time with making the title white, basically in the top down. But we were like, you know, if it's arched, it's a little bit harder to read. And then I like the placement of this, but that placement is basically here. So let's just kind of go with this version, just to humor me, and maybe this one as well, because it's a different style tub, and to me this tub like seemed to match the mock-up that you had done more. Yeah. And it was also interesting to be like, oh, there are only hints of red, like where it's even more of a secret.
Right, but then it was kind of confusing, so we went for the full blood.
We're like, what is that really saying? So we did end up not doing that.
And and important that the reason why he went with pink is because he had it in his head because you were saying that Kate's pitch for her cover has a pink tone to it, right? That's what it was.
Yeah. So for people who
it wasn't because of my hair.
No. The Comic-Con trip that Becca mentioned earlier in this live stream. I actually wound up sending Kate and Becca their contracts while they were together, which is unintentional. But I was like, you know what? I'll just send these to them. They're at Comic-Con. They won't see them. They'll get to them on Monday. Instead, I get messages from both of them being like, "Oh my god!" And I'm like, "You're at Comic-Con. Why are you looking at your email?
That's all you do at Comic-Con is look at your phone because you're taking videos."
I get the looking at your phone, but I'm like, I thought you'd be in the camera app, you know, filming stuff. Why is your email open? So I sent that, and in doing that, I was like, oh, they're both together. They are checking their phones, which I would not be if I was at Comic-Con, but okay. Let me just run these cover artists by them. They both, you and Kate, both like Christian a lot, and so did Chandra. But Chandra was like on vacation or something and actually not checking her devices. So she hadn't responded immediately about which cover artist she wanted. So I was like, Christian is a long shot. He has been hired by a lot of people and worked with like big 5 publishers, and I want to jump on this if possible.
Yeah.
So I had written to him. I was like, hey, I have some thrillers. I'm a small publisher. Here's Grandma's Little Secret. Here's Thanks for Watching, which is Kate's book and is going to be coming out later. And I gave a little description of what both authors, so we discussed what Becca wanted for her cover, and then Kate and I had discussed what she wanted for her cover, and it was all in one email. And so I think his like wires had just gotten a little bit crossed. It was totally fine. But in the response to those drafts, I wrote back to him and was CCing Becca because it's about her cover. And I'm like, love what you've done. The only thing that I'm really confused about is the pink. It's not really the vibe. Also, we're planning to have another pink cover. And is there just any chance that like that's where you pulled this from? And by the way, it's okay that I'm saying this because Kate and Becca are like best friends and they know each other and they know about each other's books. So like you can answer yes. Like this is not a breach of confidence or in any way. And he was like, oh, yes, absolutely. I'm so sorry. So then we very quickly changed the color scheme and landed where we did with the final cover. And look at that.
Yeah, I know. It's so like nothing like the ones we just showed you. But like, honestly,
the tub
is the same. Yeah, I do remember going into a little bit more detail of the true story. I know. Of going into more detail of the actual dream sequence where she sees the bloody tub and then the, and then the real stuff. And so that's when Christian was like, oh my gosh, my wife is really into serial killers.
Yeah.
And like she lived in Seattle for a while. And like, so he really got the vibe. So we were like, okay, we want greens and blues and like grays and like to give it like
he was like, what color scheme do you want? And I'm like, this is Becca, you handle this. Like it looks really bad, like I'm not gonna step in. And you're like, oh, I'm thinking like, it's based in Pacific, this area and this is the type of thing. And then he was like, oh, totally got you.
Yeah. And then, so he did, I think this honestly was pretty much set for quite a few drafts. It just was like little things like blurring the window to give it some depth, because at first everything was in focus and that really like jolted my eye. And so once he blurred that, after that, it was pretty much like a done deal, I think.
Yeah, I think we kind of got to this idea.
Oh, and the seaweed. We added the seaweed.
Yeah, I think we got to draft. I think we got pretty close to this actually at draft 3. Draft 4 was when we were like, okay, can we add the seaweed? Because we weren't sure, or I wasn't sure. Becca was like, I want the seaweed. And I was a little bit like, does it matter? Is it going to like?
Yeah, it wasn't like I needed the seaweed because the first seaweed he had.
You wanted the seaweed. It wasn't like
I didn't like his original seaweed because it was just like, but it looked like it was really thin. Yeah. So it just looked like a wig or something. I mean, this still kind of has hair-like texture, but it's thicker. And it like looks more like seaweed. So
yes. And so he had done a version with seaweed that we didn't fully love. And so I was like, oh, what if we just didn't do it?
Yeah.
And Becca was like, actually, could we try it with
this version?
This type of seaweed as well. So then we moved into like this version. But like Becca said, the 4th one was kind of like everything was in sharp focus. And I don't know that I would have personally figured that out, but it did feel like a lot. It felt like you're getting hit with the cover and you still are, but like this is a good way versus the other one was like something's.
Yeah. And he did have the wall out of focus slightly before. And I did like that. But then when we asked him to brighten it up, it was, he needed to bring the wall back into focus to give it more brightness, but I'd much rather have the brightness than have it slightly out of focus because you don't want it to disappear on the page.
Yeah.
So,
Like
yeah.
you need to be able to see the letters, but also the image.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
before we had the version where it's like, oh, it's the image, but because it's text on top of it, I'll make it dark so that it's like there's no question of what the word's saying. We're like, well, can we like tone it back just a little bit? Because the top part of the image matters. Otherwise, we would have just not asked you to add the image in.
Yeah, so it's like, so it actually ended up being like the perfect combo of just the window, slightly being blurred. I always love depth. Again, it's that art, the sort of, you know what I mean? Like, with the iPhone photos when it's like the background's blurred. I love that.
Yeah. I love, so it is seaweed.
Oh, yes, it is seaweed.
But the fact that like you're not really sure, but it's creepy. And this
could be hair.
Has, there's blood on it, there's blood underneath it. We did briefly discuss having like drag marks.
Yeah, he never actually did that though. We asked him to, he actually brought it up. It was his idea.
Yeah.
And I had originally wanted that and tried it myself, but I failed miserably. So I didn't even bother showing anybody that version. And then when he brought it up, I was all like, oh my God, yeah, try it. But then he never gave us a version with us.
Yeah, I think, I don't know. I think
I think it's because we had so many versions that we liked that he was just like, he's like,
I think I'm just gonna go with the ones that they seem to have really latched onto rather than like adding a third branch.
Yeah, the ones with the fewest amount of notes. Let me focus on those.
Yes, but you know what? I love this cover.
Me too.
My mom. Hi, thank you, Crystal.
Hey, Crystal.
The floor looks dirty enough. Yes.
Yeah.
My mom loves true crime. She also likes fictional crime shows. Okay. But those she needs a resolution. I can't watch true crime unless there's a resolution. Just because it gets like too scary for me. Yeah. And then she hadn't known that I had like signed your book or the thrillers because she had been very much about like, oh, like I don't want you to overwhelm yourself. Are you slowing down on signing books? I know you're finishing up series. And I'm like, well, I'm signing 3 thrillers and they're coming up month to month to month, back to back to back. So I'm going to like hold off on sharing this news with my mom until the latest possible moment.
Oh my God. She's like, what are you doing?
There was a complete calendar mix up. It was my fault really, because I grew up with a lot of family friends who are in musical theater, which is like super cool. And one is in a show and it just started type of thing. And I was like, I don't really know what the show's about, but sure, I'll see it. And it was tonight. And I hadn't put it in my calendar. And then all of a sudden they're like, oh yeah, next, sorry about the sunlight. I'm just like, I am disappearing into the background. Into the darkness. I now have a spooky shadow, which sets the mood well. So
yeah, it does.
That works. Where basically I was like, oh, I can no longer, my mom watches the YouTube channel, but only on replays. And she knows this whole deal now. But I was like, oh, I can't make it. I have a cover reveal. She's like, for what? Like what? And so I show her the cover and she visibly shudders. And then I tell her like, oh, and she's like, and it's inspired by true events. She's like, what? And I'm like, oh yeah, Becca, who my mom knows about because Becca had helped me get a birthday gift for my mom's older brother. So she has heard about Becca like a ton, not a lot about Becca's writing, about Becca herself.
The nerdy stuff. Like, I can get you a lightsaber.
For basically 2 solid years about Becca. And she's like, oh, the one who helped you with this. I'm like, yeah, she almost got killed as a child. And she's like, what is happening? So anyway, I was like, yeah, I can't make the thing. And she was like, oh, okay, absolutely. By the way, this cover is really creepy. Good job. And I can't wait to read it. So my mom's excited to read it, which I'm happy about.
Oh my God, that's so funny.
Yeah, absolutely gorgeous in a creepy, murdery way.
I know, right? I know. That's what I keep saying today is like, I'm all like, oh my God, I love my cover so much. It's so pretty. It's so beautiful. And then I'm all like, wait a minute. I'm like saying that about like a bloody tub with a thing, but I love it. I can't.
But like it is a beautiful cover.
It is.
What it's depicting is horrific.
No.
So I think earlier we got the comment where it's like it's horrifically beautiful or something.
Oh yeah.
It wasn't here. It was early on in the comments.
It was.
Horrifyingly stunning.
Yes.
Sorry to misquote you. There we go.
Yes. Yeah, no, it's perfect. I'm so excited. And I am glad that I did print it out on the at the Staples because it is really nice to see it on my desk, you know.
Becca, can I make you big so you can like
hold it
up? I don't want to surprise you by
Yeah, I mean, it'll obviously be different because this Staples printed more teal than green. And I actually prefer the green because that's more Pacific Northwest. So actually, you know, now that I bring that up about the Northwest Indian, because I always wanted to put like when I always originally envisioned this as a movie, I wanted to hire actual natives to do the Northwest Indian artwork because that was so much a part of my childhood and kind of grounds the story in the location. And I always thought it'd be really cool visually in a movie to have like all the suns and moons, like, so it's like you're seeing a normal interaction of live action, but the sun itself is Northwest Indian art. And I thought it'd be really fun to actually use authentic artwork. But obviously didn't do that. But the main color schemes for that is black, red, and white. So it kind of has like with the green, with the black and the red and the white. It's kind of perfect. So I kind of did it subtly and didn't even know it.
Yeah, look at that. It all came together.
Yeah, I know. Technically, this book is Dream Diaries too, but you know.
I mean, at the start of the live stream, we established that they are linked. In
That's true.
Ways that we didn't think about necessarily from this.
Yeah, because we don't know. That's the thing is, I mean, I don't think we're going to get the printed copies until what, January? Is that the normal?
I mean, depending on how fast you do the line edits, we could get arcs for early release printed, but like the version of like this is it. Yes, would not be getting that before January.
Yeah, so I just, for like TikToks and marketing and stuff, I just thought it'd be fun to have an actual like copy.
Esther is saying that you should save that for the special.
No, I'll save it for the movie.
I mean, the thing is though, is that we haven't discussed what goes under the dust jacket yet. Oh,
that's true. But yeah, that's true. Although I still would want it to be authentic.
Yeah. Oh no, we would do that correctly if we did that.
Yes. I just don't know if it would fit now, but
yeah. No, this cover reveal is about like the dust jacket, which is the ebook cover and the, you know, but it's so cool. The movie tie-in cover.
Exactly, you know.
Des asked, like, how wild is it holding it in your hand?
I mean, if you read the inside, it's not Grandma's little secret, but you know, I can pretend.
Yeah.
It's about the same length, though. Just so you know, like this is going to be roughly the size because word count wise, it's about the same.
Yeah. Well, I definitely added in some paragraph breaks and like, so we'll see if that gets us an extra page or two.
There you go. Yeah, but I mean, honestly, this is, let's see. Yeah, this is 285. That's a good length. I like that one. Yeah. I think on the website we say it's 275, so I think we're
I think that's wrong. That was estimates of things just because I had to tell Simon and Schuster.
Oh, right.
And be like, based on the word count given by the author, I think we're at this. But like we hadn't started doing edits. I hadn't started being like, oh, I want like to change paragraph breaks and things like that. So that'll just give us like a little bit extra XYZ. And really I needed the estimated length so that I could then pick a price and not have to come back later and be like, why are you pricing this thriller book at like $30 when it's half the length of all the books that thriller is priced at $30? Right. And so I was, double checking that and things like that. But I think it's cool because a lot of thriller fiction these days don't do hardcover, and we're doing hardcover with the Dust Jacket. We're going to have something with the Dust Jacket, TBD what that is. And it's so much fun. And then like all Inimitable Books titles, in addition to just the book, we're going to have some extra content exclusive to the hardcover edition. And we were talking about what was real and what wasn't, and how Becca, for legal reasons, had to make sure the real stuff was real. But reading it, not knowing the whole story going in, but knowing some of it, I was just like, this is a really great story. And Becca had told me multiple times that beta readers sometimes were saying like, oh, this part's like crazy. And then you were like, that's the real part.
I know. I had one beta reader that was all like, I felt so bad because like in the book, there's this bike that's like her, like, oh my God, the best bike in the world, whatever. And she's just like, I don't believe that she'd stay silent for a bike. But like,
you're like, well,
I did.
I have some news for you.
I wanted that bike. But that's the thing with kids, because we don't really understand what's happening. So, but I definitely took her comments seriously and made it a little bit more of an inner struggle for the character, even if that wasn't actually the case.
Yeah, but also, and you do mention it in the part of the like true or false part in the back of the hardcover exclusive, where you were younger than 11-year-old Emma.
That's
when part of the crazy stuff happened to you. And by part of, I mean all the crazy stuff that happened to you, and then only parts of it made it into the book and then happened to Emma. But you're younger in real life than Emma, so you have, maybe less internal conflict about it to begin with.
Absolutely. Because, this is in the book, she's 11, and in real life, I was 7. So a 7-year-old just wants the bike. She does not care I did not care personally about what was happening, even though it was scary, because you don't really register scary that much as a kid. You do in the moment, but afterwards,
really built up that bike even in the book, where it's like, this is
what's so funny is
this is the Holy Grail.
I know. It's funny because I ended up getting the knockoff, but I still loved it just the same. But in the book, at least she gets the real deal.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely, I'm trying to think. There were definitely things that I wanted as a kid, and I was either often like very behind the curve of like my classmates because they would want it because it's like a brand, and I was just like, I don't care. But then I'd be like, but I want it because it's like a good thing. And now that the mean girls no longer want it, I want it because it's a good item, type of thing. Or I would just be like, I don't really care who made it. I mean, now I care because I know about like bad working conditions and stuff. But like, to me, I never cared if it was the real thing. It was just like, is it what I want?
Yeah. Exactly.
Does it do what I need it to, or does it look pretty like it's supposed to? Whatever.
Yeah. I mean, this was like in the book, it's the Schwinn Fair Lady. That was the brand everyone wanted. But I got the Toys R Us pink lady, and it looked the same, and I did not care. Oh my God, that's so cute.
And then you made it even funnier by adding this comment.
Oh, that's so cute.
Completely
I see that.
This reminding me though, like during the pandemic, my mom and I had briefly moved out of the city, and we had gotten Riley a new carrier and it was, my mom wasn't fully sold on it, but I was just like, I don't know. Let's get her something new so she feels at home, and we'll do this, whatever. She loved that thing right out of the package, and it stank to high heaven of like industrial plastic. And luckily, it had a balcony, so we, we're like, we distract her, one of us, and then the other grabs it and puts it outside.
Yeah.
And she's staring at it through the glass door. And I'm now thinking about it. I'm like, I'm so glad she didn't try and like.
Oh gosh, yes.
It was out there overnight. Luckily it didn't rain. And then she got it. And then she has loved it ever since. But yeah, if you love something, I don't think it really matters the quality of it.
Yeah.
And sometimes
generic brands, even like I gotta say, in the 70s and 80s, generic brands were just as solid. Like they built things better back. I know it's horrible, but they built things today to break so that you can buy.
Yeah, planned obsolescence is 100% true.
Yeah, and back then they built them to last. So it's like even the generic brands were solid. So it just it didn't really matter as much unless you were kind of that kind of person that was into name brands.
But even generic, at least, I don't know if this is still true with our current world, but I think like 3 years ago, my mom and I are sometimes invited upstate to like very, very extended family reunions because my mom basically babysat her generation's kids throughout their entire childhoods before she adopted me. And then because of that, they were all like, oh, well, Zara has siblings, like ride or die, already built in, of course. But so my mom will get invited to things and then she would take me along. And on this more recent one, we found out that like a cousin of a cousin's spouse or something like works for the company that manufactures the generics for like CVS or something. And they're like, our testing is crazy. Like it is as good as like the brand ones or something. So, sometimes generic is.
Yeah, honestly, when it comes to like ibuprofen and things like that, I always get generic. Like it's the same. It works the same.
Yeah. But when the book mentions the Tylenol thing, I think you told me what it was, but up until that point, I had never.
That literally scarred me as a kid. Like to this day, at 52 years old, I will never ever have any gel cap or any kind of pill that you can open and there's stuff inside. Because it's like that, because it happened at such a young age. Like I think I was 10.
Oh no, that's formative.
Yeah, it was like the fact that the guy, and they never caught him, and he put cyanide in the gel caps. So people were literally had headaches and took cyanide and died, and like 7 people died. It was like so scary.
No, if I had known that growing up, I definitely.
Yeah,
I know that I could say I eventually would have gotten over it, but I definitely would not rely on them as much as I do now.
It's just like when it happens at such a formative age, it's just especially like me, I'm like a hypochondriac anyway. So like, that's probably where it started.
No, I'm sure that if, I asked my therapist to list out all the things that I have said in sessions where it's like, oh yeah, that is a thing that has definitely stuck with you for years. I'd be like, oh, I have none of that. But none of them are coming to mind right now. But I've definitely like had certain things that stuck with me. And it's really funny when something will come up. And my
Yeah.
mom would be like, why are you anxious about this? I'm like, because you taught me to be. Oh, I got over it. I'm like, obviously.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, it was because of that that they actually you know how you have the on all pills and
Yeah,
everything and vitamins, the
the
security,
seals.
the seals. Yeah, that's what started it.
Yeah.
It's sort of like how now we have to like take off our shoes and everything like that and have to, do, all the water stuff and whatever, like in the airports, and you can't go to the gate. Like, I mean, before 9/11, you could walk to the gate with the person that was flying.
I technically did fly on a plane pre 9/11 because my mom adopted me before then. But
Okay.
any memories I have of airports, solidly after 9/11. I don't know
Yeah.
what pre 9/11 flights are like from my own memory.
Yeah.
Maybe
Well, I mean,
a
to
more
be fair, I've been flying since the 70s, so it's a little like when I was flying as a kid in the 70s, people smoked.
But like even then, I don't remember the like late 90s.
Awful. Yeah,
Like
I
I
know.
don't remember the late 90s of, you
Yeah.
know.
But again, how old were you in the late 90s?
I was born in 97.
Yeah, so there you go, of course.
I know, but it would be so interesting to know the difference. Although my mom has this funny story, where it's not hers, but basically her dad did the really, really stupid thing years before 9/11 happened, where it was still like you don't joke about certain things before you get on a plane. And he did.
Oh my God.
Too loudly, really close to the gate.
Yeah.
And they would not let him board.
Okay.
Like, you're
now
right to go through. And then my mom's mom apparently was like, no, I'm staying with my idiot husband.
Yes.
Like, I'm not going on this trip without him. But
Oh my God. It's so funny now that you obviously have read the book and everything. Abby?
Yes.
Okay. Abby in real life was like that kid. And so when they were going through it was in the 80s and they were going through the security and she's like, at least I don't have a bomb on me.
No, that's literally what my mom's dad did.
Yeah, they put the whole family in
and they were like, no,
security.
sir, you may not come through.
That's exactly. She was like 8, but they still put her in security.
No, my mom's dad was a fully grown adult. He was a fully grown adult. Had worked with the government.
Way, man, you should never say bomb.
He worked with the government, okay? Like that was not his main job, but he had worked with the government. He knew better. So I'm sure my grandma, who was the one who like got me into reading and like was amazing. And if I ever found out that she was like the grandma on this, I would be, oh my God, I'd be devastated.
Oh my God. Well,
I would never recover, but she was not like that. And there's no reason we would ever think she's what Grandma Virginia presents herself as.
Right.
Was really that.
Yes.
Anyway, she was very much like, I can't. Nope, I'm staying with my idiot husband. You're on the ground.
Oh my God.
He was making it as a joke. I don't think it was an thought. Like he knew.
Yeah, no, Aaron was too. But the problem is that if you read the dynamics, those are true in the book about how her family treated her.
Oh, what she said though,
she said that
maybe her grandparents are just being weird because people do weird things behind closed doors, and then you have the other best friend, and then Emma, who's basically you, being like, Abby, you've never said this before. I burst out laughing.
Oh my God.
So it was really, first of all, for people who don't know, and you will not know until you read the book, or if you sign up to be an ARC reader, it's very dark, and then all of a sudden one of the best friends is like, well, maybe it's this. And you're just like, thank you for the moment of levity, but also not the time.
Which, by the way, is another true story.
That is, you know what? I feel like that would be scarring. And I hope your real life friend that Abby is based on has been to a therapist at least once in her life.
Okay, it didn't happen to Abby, but it happened to my other friend Tanya, and it was like, yeah, and so I pulled that and gave it to Abby, but like, yeah, I remember being like, what? And then we went into her parents' room, and they had all of the like S&M gear, and they had like all these books and
I
like
want people
toys.
to know this is a throwaway line in the book.
It
Do
is.
not
I
get
know.
excited.
But
Like,
it came from a real place from
it
my
came
friend
from a real
Tanya.
place. We do spend some time at Emma's friends' homes, but we do not get to see apparently the at-home
No.
fun room that
If we do end up having an event in New York, though, Abby, aka
I thought
Erin.
you were gonna say that you wanted like to have like a room, like sleep
she's
somewhere,
coming.
have all these rooms set up. And I was gonna
She would be coming, so you'd
okay,
actually get
that's
to meet
really
her.
cool.
Yeah.
No one go up to her and be like, so.
She knows that was Tanya. She remembers. She's like, oh yeah, Tanya. I remember her parents.
Yeah. Yeah. The friends in the book are ride or die. And it was cool to hear like what was real from that and what wasn't. So again, really pushing the hardcover here because the true or false is in that.
Oh, we're not gonna put that in the ebook? Oh, I feel like we should though.
Maybe we can do an abbreviated version.
Okay. Because I feel like
maybe that version will just be about the crime. Because for people.
Oh, right. Yeah. Because I do feel like everyone that reads the book is going to want to know what the real stuff is. And a lot of people don't even know about hard copies having like like all of our community will know and the people we advertise to will know that there's extras, but most people in general aren't going to know that one version or whatever.
Yeah. So
oh, there is a photo wall in the actual book. It's quite
that photo wall. You describe that so for someone. Poor Abby. Oh, did you go to the fair and pose for the? No, this really creepy photo that's central to the book was not a fun thing.
You know what's crazy though? It wasn't.
You're gonna tell me that you have a photo like this in real life.
I do have a photo like this because my Aunt Blanche, not the great
aunt who Grandma
Blanche is actually not in the book at all. My great Aunt Blanche, she actually, there's a picture of her and she looks exactly like me. Like people, and she's standing next to my grandpa because they're brother and sister. And people always used to ask, oh, where did you get that? Did you guys get that done at because in the mall you could always do like Western or like themed photo shoots. That was back in the day, man. That was really fun in the mall. You could always do these crazy photo shoots.
Man, I'm glad you are
alive.
And yes.
Yeah. So yeah, there is an actual. I'll see if I can scrounge it up.
When family members look really similar, people in my family. So I was adopted. So I don't look like anyone. But they would always talk about like, oh, this person looks like this someone, and I'd be like, yeah, okay, like I've seen photos and like, yes, I can see the resemblance. And it wasn't like instances where it's like, oh, they have like their parents' feature, and I'm like, I don't see it. Like, I'm not gonna say it, but I don't see it. It happens.
Yeah.
My grandma had a house that we used to go to basically every weekend when I was growing up until she got older, like had an accident where it was basically like, she was like, I don't think I should be living by myself anymore. And she was that person who was like, I'm not going to live with my kids. I'm not going to like add an extra burden. Like we'll do something else or whatever. But she lived in this house by herself for a very, very long time. And there was this guest room that I don't believe my mom ever like actually slept in, like as it being her room. Because by the time my grandma bought this house, she was like an adult and living off at like university and then grad school, as far as I know. Okay. But it was the room that we were always in because it was really close to my grandma. And I don't know, at some point, I don't know if she had switched around the photos or I was finally tall enough to see over the cabinet where this photo was. But I had asked my mom, I'm like, why is this photo of you and insert my younger uncle? So my mom's younger brother, not the one that we got the lightsaber for on Becca's recommendation, but her younger brother. I'm like, why are you in this photo together? Like, it looks nice, but like, what's the point? Like, as if people can't just take photos. But I was like, what's the point? And she's like, that's my dad. And I'm like, that is a scary copy and paste. And then years later, I see photos of my mom's mom, her dad, from their first vacation together when they were set up on a blind date by their best friends. Turns out they were met. My background's getting spookier and spookier. I see that photo and my mom looks just like her mom and her dad looks just like her younger brother. And I'm like, that's freaky. Like, I mean, they had a love story for the ages. We still have their love letters to each other. I can read them because I was taught script in school. But like, oh my God. I was just like, so when I read that in your book, I'm like, this is a much creepier version. Like, this is a creepy.
But it's crazy how genetics are like that. It's just like, whoa. And it's never like the direct. It's like you never look just like your mom or just like, I mean, sometimes you do, like you were saying, but like, yeah, for me, it's like in our family, it's like you look like your great aunt or you look like your great grandmother.
And like that already is like eerie. But the fact that it was literally one generation to the next copy paste.
That is crazy. That is crazy.
I'm like, are you sure your dad didn't play around in a lab? Because
I know.
He did science and stuff. I'm like, are we sure?
Clones.
But yeah.
Oh my goodness.
We have talked all over the place, but as a reminder,
this is a family book. So
yes, this is the cover reveal live stream for Inimitable Books' first thriller title ever.
No pressure.
It's coming out next year in February. So when it's really cold out and dark and you feel like scaring yourself more.
Yes.
Grandma's Little Secret by Becca C. Smith, inspired by true events. Will be coming out. We are hoping to have, I say hoping. We will be having an in-person live launch event. It will not be a virtual only live launch event. We're going to have to figure out logistics of what
there will be two, possibly. One,
yes, there will possibly be two, but there will definitely be a real in-person event.
Yes.
Location TBD, because that kind of determines the two location part thingy.
Yes.
But I'm super excited for it. If you are like thrillers, if you like psychological thrillers, if you like supernatural stuff, mind-bendy things, if you like the 80s, if you like, Stranger Things and your other comp, which is escaping my mind right now because
it's like Goonies.
Thank you. I'm like, no, it's another huge thing that like I just have less personal connection to.
I mean, it's not like Goonies, but like her relationship with her two best friends.
Yes. Like yeah. If you like any or all of those, you will like this. There are some elements of horror, but it is not so horror filled that like I couldn't read it. Despite my background, I am a huge scaredy cat. The only reason that I'm okay here is that this is my mom's apartment and I've lived here for a decade and I know how everything works and where everything is and I could find my way around in the dark.
Yes.
I mentioned that I went to my grandma's house every weekend for like a decade of my life.
Yeah.
And I could still not go upstairs in the dark without being scared.
Ooh, well, some houses are like that, or apartments.
Her house wasn't like that. I just had a really overactive imagination. Like
I know. I can't. To be fair, I'm the same. So
yeah. But yeah, so it's scary and spooky, but it's not too spooky. And if you're like, oh, I could watch like the show Supernatural or The Vampire Diaries or any whatever else that they've come out with since on the CW that's like supernatural on people who didn't grow up in that genre, and we're like, back in my day we called that horror and gore, like you're gonna be okay. But if you're like jump scare horror and you're worried about that, like there is horror, it is horrific what is happening in the book, but it's not like that. It's more like you read a newspaper and you're like, that is horrific. Because it was based on stuff that made it into newspapers and made real people do.
And if you have read Dream Diaries, it is a similar vibe in that sense.
Yes. Yeah. So
there is levity to it, though. Like all my characters always kind of have a certain level of lightness to them, even if they're in a dark situation.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like a dry humor.
Yeah, it's not like a ha 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 ha. Yeah, I mean, there may be a couple moments.
It's not insane, and it's not insanity like Joker.
Oh no.
It's more just like,
it's more like using a kid's like the most embarrassing moments, like just the stuff like that. You just like Goonies isn't a comedy, but you laugh a lot in it. You know what I mean? Or Stranger Things too. It's not a comedy, but you still laugh because like the dynamic between the kids and things like that. So
so there's so much in here, and we went with the scarier version of the cover so that people who were expecting a straight thriller weren't scared or disappointed, because not that they necessarily wouldn't like the book, but just that they were like, hey, I thought I was getting this, and then I got out. But know that the book is not all, there is a dead body that's going to be rising from a crypt at any moment. Like this could be, this could be Dracula's bathroom, or, if Elizabeth Bathory really let her castle go type of
It's just grandma's bathroom, no big deal.
In a dream. Grandma's bathroom is a little bit nicer.
Pretty close, actually. Like even the real life version probably looked a little bit like this.
Yeah, but I would like to think that it looked a little bit nicer before the giant pool of blood on the floor. Like that was the splash of color that got added.
Yeah, I love that. I love that pool of blood. It's perfect.
Oh, we had so much back and forth about that pool of blood.
The blood. I know. It ended up being great. So
yeah. So thank you for being here for our cover reveal. We ran a little bit long, but I'm very happy. I know Becca and I could probably talk for hours.
I know.
But it is getting late because I am on the East Coast, and despite me being okay in a darkened apartment, I do need to walk Riley before.
You need some light, and Riley needs a walk.
Yes. So thank you for being here. Yes, we are so excited. We are going to be accepting ARC readers, not yet, but if you haven't subscribed to Becca's newsletter, I'm assuming you've linked that through your YouTube channel, and if not, I know it's linked through your website. We also have Becca's newsletter linked on the book page on inimitablebooks.com. If you go to our homepage, and then her book is front and center. So if you clicked on, I think it says more info or something, you get a page where it then has the book deal announcement video embedded. There's also the link to Becca's newsletter, and then also the form to upload your pre-order receipt, because in Becca's video where she goes through the newspaper clippings, there's a moment where a newspaper decided to go all out on graphic design for something, and then someone commented on the video and was like, oh, that would be so cool for a cover. And then I wrote to Becca and I was like, So what if?
Yeah.
So that's going to be not the newspaper clipping art.
No, yeah.
But we're going to, you know, something kind of in that style. Thank you.
Well, I actually did. I'm the one who designed. I designed a fun like 80s style cover, and I actually used the new Stephen King release where he did the new 80s style. I used that vibe for the thing, and it ended up being really fun. So
it's going to be postcards signed by Becca with that art.
Yeah.
So if you want one of those, and it is open to international readers, although the world is getting a little bit difficult with that. So we're happy to send it. It might not get to you. But you know, you can upload your pre-order receipt as long as your pre-order receipt is dated before February 17th. In your time zone. And I tend to leave those forms open for like a week after release day comes, just so that if anyone forgets, as long as, and then I check all the receipts anyway. So as long as you qualify, you'll get that, hopefully. And it's really cool. So it is up for pre-order on a lot of websites. If for some reason I haven't linked your favorite retailer, I might not know about it. B, we use a plugin on WordPress, which is actually pretty limited in its retailer choices. And every time I hear about a new one, I then have to pay someone on Fiverr to update the plugin. So if you're like, oh my God, this is a really great retailer, please add this, I can do that, but it's not actively trying to slight any retailers. Obviously, we love bookshop.org because they support indie bookstores in the United States. There's also bookshop.co.uk, which does the same for UK bookstores. We don't have any news about an audiobook yet, but there will be coming at some point. That is in the plans. One way or another, it will happen. Whether or not it's going to be a simultaneous release depends on certain things. So we will announce that as soon as we know. But ebook hardcover will be coming out at the same time on February 17th. So pre-order that, tell your friends to, and it's going to be so exciting. The bookshop link is on the book page as well. And what's really exciting is that I believe in the last 6 months, maybe a little bit more recently, bookshops started doing ebooks as well. So, you know, they have their app and it's basically like Kobo, Nook, whatever. You have it there. So if you're like, oh, I only read ebooks, don't worry. You could still use Bookshop if you choose. But any retailer is great. Also, though, if you're like, oh, I get books from libraries, you can absolutely request it from your library through the Libby app. Library orders are great. And if a library knows that people are interested, then they are more likely to order the book for their library. So anything is great. Yes. So once you start seeing the ebook specific buttons, then all the ones after. So there's like Apple Books as well, which is the ebook. There's Nook on there, but before that, there's like Barnes and Noble and, you know, Amazon versus a Kindle button. So I try and make it clear. But anyway, if you click around, luckily all the formats are linked to each other. So if you click on Amazon and you're like, oh, I landed on the hardcover, but I want the Kindle, it's there. Same with Barnes and Noble, et cetera, et cetera. So please pre-order the book. Tell your friends to do the same. It's a wild ride and you're not going to want to miss it. And oh my God, I'm so excited for this, Becca. Congratulations.
Thank you. Oh my God, thank you so much. I'm so excited too.
Okay. Thank you everyone for being here. Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching.